Good afternoon. We'll start. The lectures are recorded. The lecture recording starts at 12:30, so I will try and start at 12:30 as a rule. My name is Annette Vincent. I'm the sessional lecturer for Systems Analysis and Modelling for this semester. And this first lecture, if you've checked the Moodle site, is basically an overview of the unit and some background in the software development lifecycle, which is the leaping off point for where you start systems analysis. A bit about myself. I'm only on campus on Tuesdays. I'll be saying that again several times this lecture. I'm only on campus on Tuesdays. If you need to see me, you need to make an appointment on Tuesdays. And if you need to contact me otherwise, you can email me, but be aware that I don't check the UC email every 10 minutes. I check it a couple of times a day. You won't get an instantaneous response. What I do when I'm not on campus is I have two part-time positions. I'm a modeller and analyst at the Australian Research Council, working on the research management system that I worked on the development, and now that's in the maintenance phase. I'm also a modeller and analyst at SmartWard, which is a medical software startup that's in Hull. I've been in the industry more than 20 years, and I got my degree at the University of Tasmania in Hobart. Anything else you want to know about me? Happy to have questions at any time. Okay, so the contents for this lecture. We're doing some administrative sort of stuff, and then what is systems analysis, which is what this whole unit is about, the software development lifecycle context, where does analysis fit in with whatever software lifecycle you happen to be using, what is modelling. This unit is one of the units with a research skills focus, so we will be talking a fair bit about you doing some research to find out stuff rather than me giving you everything on a plate. These are skills that are going to be useful later. And references, because I did some research and I have my references. So I'm a sessional lecturer. That means for stuff to do with the course and by the unit, you contact me. So that's if you're going to need to change your tutes, if you're going to miss out on something and you want to check, or if there's something wrong with the lecture recordings and they're not working, you contact me. Something about the content, you contact me. Lubna is the unit convener, so you contact her to do with all the administration stuff. So if you want to get a prerequisite waived, I can't help you with that. You've got to see Lubna. If you want to defer, abandon, withdraw, you don't see me. I don't have any powers in that realm. You see Lubna. So we're going to look at the course content and the unit context, walk through the outline, talk about the unit research, and talk about tutorials. So this is a little map that was done of the Bachelor of Business Informatics, and Systems Analysis and Modelling is a second year unit, and if you're an undergrad, the prereq is database design. So we're assuming you've done and can remember what you did in database design. We don't do a lot of references to database design, but some of the concepts that you've learnt in database design do get used in this unit, particularly in entity relationship diagrams and in class diagrams in UML. The outline walkthroughs. Okay, so the outlines are both up. They're substantially the same, the undergrad and the grad one. They cover what we're trying to achieve, tells you basically the three parts of the unit. So we're doing, first part is preliminary analysis, second part is structured modelling, third part is object-oriented modelling, and the textbook and the assessment. So this is important. There are 3 online quizzes via Moodle that are worth 5% each. They're 10 questions and they're roughly at the end of each section of the unit. There is an assignment. Again, 3 sections, 15% each, and again, roughly 1/3 of the way through, 2/3 of the way through, and at the end of the unit is when they're due. Those assignments should be submitted via Moodle, so that the assignments will be up on Moodle probably over the next week or so. For your assignment, you are given a case study. That is, I give you some sort of inadequate documentation about a case study, and then you use that information plus your research to do the assignment. The case study is allocated for undergrads by the last digit in your student number. So we're putting up 10 case studies, and you look at your student number, get the last digit, and then that's your case study that you're using for the whole of this unit. For grads, I'll be putting it up individually and allocating you a case study. And the examination is 40%. There is no... in order to pass the unit, you need to get an aggregate of more than 50%. Okay, so if you fail any one assessable item, that is not devastating. Any questions about the assessment? Strongly recommend you do all the assessable items. Makes passing the unit significantly easier. This unit has been structured to encourage research-led learning. So in your assignment feedback, you'll be getting, you'll be seeing little tables that refer to Bloom's taxonomy in terms of the level of your comprehension or capability or performance for a particular task in the assignment. So you should just be aware that basically we're looking for these sorts of capabilities in your assignment, in the sections of your assignment. I've covered some of this already. There's 3 parts. Important. Part 2 requires Part 1 to have been completed. Part 1 is the preliminary analysis, then Part 2 is structured modelling. You can't do Part 2 unless you've already done Part 1. Same way, Part 3 is object-oriented modelling. You can't do the object-oriented modelling unless you've already done the preliminary analysis. So you need to have done Part 1. There is going to be forums set up for each case study. They are for specific questions to do with your case study. The case study documentation that I give you is not sufficient. You need to do research and ask questions of your tutor, starting next week, or use the forums. So ask questions on the forums. If you need help with your assignments, ask your tutor. I'm also happy to comment on one early draft of each assignment part per student. You must get that to me more than 5 days before the due date, so that I have time to have a look at it, give you some feedback, and you can make the corrections. If you want to discuss your assignment with me, make an appointment, email me is the best way to do that, and bring whatever you've done to date and your questions to the appointment. Don't turn up unprepared. That wastes both your and my time. And as I said, I'm only here Tuesdays. I'm a scarce resource. Assignments are submitted via Moodle. You can't submit late via Moodle.